Geoff, this is Geoff Legg with Metal Temple Magazine.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, not bad. Can't complain.
Well, good. Look, I won't take up too much of your time. I just got a few questions, kind of let you tell our readers about this great record you got coming out next month. And then I'll just let you kind of lead. I want to ask you one thing to start, and then we'll let that kind of lead into talking about the album. With the release of this record, you haven't really had a writing or recording break in over 30 years. I think the longest period between albums was 4 years, I believe. Mm-hmm. But I was reading this article from a prominent lead singer talking about never needing to record new material again, maybe just perform greatest hits package for the rest of his career. How do you respond to somebody that thinks they can tour from now on greatest hits?
Well, to each his own, really. Some people do that, Well, actually, a lot of people do that. They don't put out new music, but I like it. I've got stuff I want to write and things I want to say, and I really love making albums. It's one of my favorite things to do in the world. So I can't imagine not making a new album.
Yeah, I think it's to me, I think it's an easy way out, but like you said, to each their own. So on the flip side of that, records don't sell like they used to. It's a pretty much a performance-driven industry now. A new band coming out. So what's their outlook on the future? Is there any future for new bands? Some of these younger guys that are saying, "Hey, we got a record coming out." And I'll do a review on it and we'll put it out there, but it's hard to get a young band going with no way to sell music.
Yeah, well, unless you've got, millions of dollars behind you to promote it, it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, there's definitely a handful of, situations where that's different, of course, where a band or a song or, gets some notoriety because of YouTube or something like that. But the majority, of bands or artists that make a record, the music really falls on deaf ears. And it would have been the same way for me 30 plus years ago if I didn't have a gigantic multinational corporation with millions of dollars promoting it,
Yeah, and I that's one of the main things that bothers me about, because I listen to so much music, do reviews, but you hear so much great music, and when you hear it, you just know that's going to fall on deaf ears, and it's just all of this hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, and it's all. I mean, there's so much good material that will never be heard. So anyway, so we got a new record coming out September 23rd on Frontiers Music. Do you still get nervous when you got a new record coming out, or you got so many critics out there waiting for something to drop and pounce all over. Is it something you care about what they say, and do you still have any kind of nerves releasing a new record?
I never did have nerves before releasing a new record, really. Yeah, I don't know. Music is a personal thing, and whether somebody loves it or hates it, it doesn't matter. It's not for comparison. It's art. It's music. It's a personal journey that somebody takes listening to it, and you can't expect everybody to follow the same journey or take the same journey. I think the big misconception is with a lot of people is that music and sports are the same thing. Music isn't a competitive sport at all. Sports are great, and sports are competing against each other. That's a whole different mindset. In music, you're not competing against anybody. There's no competition. There is no best. There is no best. There is no worst. It's just
there's no scores.
Taste. No, there's no scores. There's just personal taste, But you know, some people just don't see it that way, and I don't actually understand how they can see it any other way.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Now you said, talking about personal taste, have you ever had any interest in crossing genres, maybe doing another style? I don't think country, but you got pretty much the freedom to do whatever you want. Have you ever thought about crossing?
Well, I think everybody has the freedom to do whatever they want creatively, you know. I don't know what the purpose would be to cross genres. I don't know. I don't really believe in the genre concept. So I guess to answer your question, no.
Yeah, okay. That's good, because you don't need to be anywhere else but where you're at. Okay, so you got Resurrection coming out, and it's part 2 of a trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, and of course, you're a great songwriter, and a guy like me, it's hard for me to understand. When you write a trilogy, do you write, is it all written ahead of time, like, because it's all intertwined? Is it? Do you write one? Do you write 1, 2, and 3 at the same time, and then just release them, or is it something that evolves?
Yeah, you pretty much. Well, there's no set pattern, no set way to do it. But the way I did this particular record was that I had an idea. Well, first off, I'd wanted to write a record like this for quite a while. I wanted to do a large concept piece, you know. And so anyway, I had this story idea, and I began setting the story to music, and I did it kind of all at the same time. And then, of course, then you have to wait a while for the record company to release it, because they have a cycle that they're on, a fiscal cycle, I guess they call it. So the albums are done and just waiting to be released.
And so the number 3 will be out in a year, I suppose?
Yeah, next August, September, around there.
Oh, that's great. Operation MINDCRIME, that was, to me, the greatest concept album of all time, but you don't see many people doing concept albums. Is that something you enjoy?
I do. Yeah, I like telling stories with music. I like exploring, different moods. When you have a story, it's you're kind of following a character or a group of people, and they're going through a scenario or an adventure. And along that adventure, there's many different moods that are represented. And so you do that with the music. You tell the story with the emotions of the characters that are involved with the story.
And where do you is it something that just comes to you, or where do you draw inspiration for most? Is it current events, or?
Yeah, I'm kind of a news junkie.
Yeah,
I watch a lot of. I read a lot of news. Keep track of what's going around in the world. I'm interested in a lot of different topics, so that kind of helps, right? I'm really interested in the development of technology and where that's going, anthropology, the evolution of humans, and where we came from and how we got to where we are now. Just a lot of different subjects.
Real deep. You've always been a lot deeper than most people. How do you determine what a success is for your albums? Like you said in the beginning, it's all for, you're not competing, so I guess it's success in your mind is in your heart and soul, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I feel successful with each time I complete a record, because it's a lot that goes into it, typically. And so that's I guess that's how I gauge it, Okay,
so a guy like me that's always writing reviews, do you read the reviews, or is it something you just try to keep away from?
Honestly, I don't pay attention to that too much. And it's not that I don't care what people think. It's just that, years and years and years and years ago when I first started out, I read a couple of reviews of performances or records that I had written, and it just seemed to be somebody's opinion, and it became. I started wondering, well, what does that have to do with me? What somebody's going to either like what I'm doing at the moment or they're not. So either way, it doesn't really have anything to do with me,
Yeah.
So I just kind of got out of the habit of reading about myself.
Yeah. Well, I guess I won't
seems
be
kind of
sending you my...
it seems kind of egotistical in a sense, to be so fascinated with reading what people think about you.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I don't understand from your perspective, but I get what you're saying.
I kind of like to, hang in my own vibe, and
Yeah, I got you.
I guess I'm kind of guilty of that,
It looks like you brought in a lot of musicians, guest musicians on this. You work with all of these guys.
Yeah. Over the years, I've worked with all of them in different, aspects of music, and it's great because, I guess Kelly Gray and I are the main backbone of the writing on these records, and then Scott Motton as well on guitar and keyboards and vocals really added a lot to this. But guys like Brian Tichy played on the record, and gosh, who else?
Rick Rowans, Blaze Bailey were on there, right?
Oh yeah. Rick Rowans and Blaze are buddies, and they were just in town, and we're talking about the record and what's going on, and I just invited them over to sing on a couple tracks, and see how it turned out, and it's great. I really like what they did.
Dave Ellefson, Simon Wright. You can answer this or however you want, or you don't have. But I don't. Do you still have a relationship with Chris DeGarmo? If it is a great relationship, is there any chance that you guys would ever work together on something in the future, or have you talked about
I suppose.
that?
Yeah. He's pretty much out of music. Yeah, he doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, he's a pilot now or something.
Yeah. So he doesn't really have anything to do with music, but if he ever did and wanted to do something, I'd be very open to, working with him again.
Yeah, that'd be great. You're, like I said, 30-some years into your career, and you've been as successful as anybody could have been. Do you have are you content with, if let's just say something happened and it was all over, are you content with your career, or is there a whole lot more that you feel if it ended today you'd feel shorted, or do you really feel content with what you've accomplished?
Yeah, I do. I've written 18 albums, that's quite a lot of work. I've got a couple more albums in me, I think, that I'd like to do, and one of them's in the development stages now. But yeah, I feel good about what I've done. There's a lot of interesting music there, I think, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, I've enjoyed it immensely. So,
thank you. It is kind of strange. Like I'll hear a song playing like from a stereo or something. I'll be at a traffic light or a shopping mall or something like that, and I'll hear a song that sounds familiar to me. And the more I listen, I realize, oh, that's me.
It's been that long.
Yeah, it's crazy. And some songs I haven't heard in many years. So it's crazy. I forget how many there are, and what they are.
Oh, I could probably name them for you. I just got to tell you, you've probably been in my ears more than any vocalist. But I just want to thank you for everything you provided to rock and roll, and hopefully a lot more of it in the future. I'm a big fan, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, great. Well, thank you, Geoff. I appreciate that, man. Really, really great talking with you. I'm rolling for about 5 hours, actually.
Oh, my goodness. Well, next time you come through Oklahoma City, you want to go out to dinner or something, hit me up, and I'll show you some barbecue or whatever.
Right on.
I hope you guys come through here.
Yeah, I think we're planning on it probably around springtime.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay, Geoff, I appreciate your time, and like I said, it's an honor for me to interview you, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
All right, Geoff. Take care. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.